Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel, Sew Me Sarah, here on YouTube. This is my little corner of the internet where we talk all about cross stitching and sometimes some other needle crafts as well. Maybe a little bit of general chit chat thrown in there too for good measure. Those of you who keep coming back time after time to spend some time here on the channel with me, I want to say a big thank you. I'm very grateful for you and for all that you do to support the channel. If you're new here, I hope that you enjoy stopping by for a little bit. And if you like it enough, I hope that you'll consider subscribing so that you won't miss out on future episodes. If you find this isn't your cup of tea, please don't give up on Flosstube. There are lots and lots of us out there. We are a many and varied bunch. So if I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. There will be other Flosstubers who will be for you. So please give plenty of others a try. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for some happy mail that came in during the last couple of weeks. I got a lovely little thank you gift from one of the viewers who I had helped with a question, and she very sweetly sent a lovely card and a little ornament. I love little hanging ornaments, so I'll be finding somewhere nice to put that, and some ruby slippers floss as well, with a lovely card. I didn't ask if I could use your name, so I won't, but you know who you are, and I just wanted to say thank you very much. That was really sweet of you. You didn't have to do that, but it was a very pleasant surprise. I also got a lovely little package from another viewer who won one of the giveaways or shareaways here on the channel, and she sent me a number of charts that I can stitch myself or give away to you. So these are charts that she has already stitched and she's sharing them, so there are definitely some stitches in here for me. I mean, how could I not stitch this one? Antique cups and spoons. There are a couple of others that I will stitch too, and the others then I will share with you. And I'm sure that when I finish the ones I do stitch, I'll pass them on as well. So thank you so much. Again, not necessary, but lovely. And these will find stitchers who want to stitch them, either me or some of you out there. So thank you so much, ladies, for brightening up my day with some happy mail. I wanted to address a question that I was asked, I think 2 episodes ago. So Stephanie, you posted a question about frame suggestions, and I think I answered it, but I can't find it now. But I think I answered it, but then last night I was overcome with doubt and thought, oh no, what if I have just ignored your question? So whatever, I'm making doubly sure that I have actually answered your question by addressing it here. So you asked if I could make some frame recommendations. I am not by any means a frame expert. As you all know, I stitch mostly in hand. Sometimes I'll use a hoop, an embroidery hoop, and very occasionally I'll use a Q-snap. I'm not as comfortable using a Q-snap as I am with other methods. But if I'm using a frame, a rolling frame, a rotating frame, this is the brand that I use. Now, I know there are much more sophisticated brands out there than this one, that attach to fancy frames, your Millenniums and that kind, and those are, I have no doubt they're superior, but for me, this one does the trick. This is the Elbesee, E-L-B-E-S-E-E, Elbesee Easy Clip Frame. And I would like to stress to you that if you're ordering them from Amazon, for example, make sure it's Easy Clip, because this is the one that I like. The other Elbesee kind are the more traditional kind with the canvas, or the, what do you call it? Tape across the top that you have to sew your stitching to. I do know the name of that tape, and it's just twill tape. That's it, twill tape. So it has a piece of twill tape basically stapled onto the rolling frame, and then you stitch your fabric on, and I just don't enjoy that process. I do have a couple of those from a long time ago when I was first stitching, But these are obviously their newer version, and they have these little plastic grips. So there's a little, I don't know, I should show you properly. There's a little groove in the roll itself, and you just pop your fabric over, and then you grip it in place with this. And I'm doing a very bad demonstration as always, but basically you grip it and then you can tighten it. And the whole system works on this frame with the wing nuts and everything. And I did show before, there's a little device you can get called a Twizzler. I'm not sure where my Twizzler is at the moment, but if you have trouble, because I know some people have trouble just managing the wing nuts basically. And I mean, I can do them, but sometimes it's really hard to get them just tight enough. But the Twizzler is like a plastic thing that goes over the top, and it really helps you to twist it. So it costs about $4.99, and that's also available on Amazon. So that is the frame that I recommend as a basic kind of starter frame if you're not going for a fancy setup with, you know, like a floor frame or anything like that. These can obviously be used in a frame that holds a floor frame, or like a Luca S frame, or a Lowry frame, Lowry stand or something like that. You'll be able to use these in as well. I mostly use mine just by holding them myself actually, but this is the frame that I would recommend for someone who's starting out with the rolling frames. And I have several projects on mine. The other benefit, so here's my bee queen, or queen bee. Can't remember which way around she comes. I'm having a bad morning. But here she is. And it's easy to tighten her and get the tension better. It's also easy to take her on and off. So if you only have 1 or 2 frames and you want to switch projects in and out, you know, I haven't stitched on her for a while. Maybe I have another project coming up and I want to stitch it on a frame. I can stitch it on, you know, I can pop it on and off this frame quite easily because of the clips, as opposed to having to undo all the stitching to sew it onto the twill tape bands. So that's my other the other advantage that I can see in using the easy clip frame. So LBC easy clip frames, and I'm really sorry if I didn't answer that in the comments. I think I did, because the comment's gone, and normally if I've answered it, it goes, and if I haven't answered it, it sits there until I do. So I think I've answered it, Stephanie. I'm so sorry if I didn't, but this is what I would recommend, unless you're going for something you know, much more advanced, in which case I'm not the person to ask. But you could look at the Millennium frame, the Hearthside stand and frame, which comes from Evertote, Canada. Those types of frames are also available. So I hope that answers your question at least to some degree, and forgive me if I didn't answer it initially. Okay, what else have I got to share with you today? The giveaway that I was doing on the last episode is for the Cotton and Twine March 2025 box. So this is the pattern that is in the box, but I am giving the whole of the gift box away. So you get the kit, basically the pattern, the needle, the floss, the fabric. You will get the gifts that came with it. There's a lovely bear needle minder. There's a grizzly bear gummy sweet treat, a tea bag, and some finishing fabric is in there as well. So that is all coming to the winner of the giveaway from last time, and that winner is Janet O'Brien 8630. So congratulations, Janet. I know that you visit frequently and comment frequently, so I'm very happy to be sending this to you. If you just get in touch with me either by email, the email address is in the drop down box below, or you can Instagram message me, direct message me, and let me have your address, and I will get this in the post to you as soon as I can. So congratulations again. And this was actually a very popular little giveaway, so that was fun to see. You might, if you didn't get it yet, you might be able to pick one up on the Cotton and Twine website. Sometimes they have leftover boxes after they've done their subscription run, and if they have leftover boxes, they're there under past boxes. So you could have a look at that too if you haven't picked one of those up already and are interested. Okay, let's show you what I have been stitching. So I have a finish, which was my new daily thread, and it is the Stitch in London sampler from 2024. This was the Stitch in London October Retreats pattern, which was designed by Yasmin's Made with Love. She had a beautiful booklet that retreat attendees could purchase with 3 variations of this pattern in to stitch as a reminder of your time at Stitch in London. This was the one that I chose. There was a smaller one which was more like a pin cushion. I think it was more or less this top part of the design, and then there was a landscape version which looked, you know, they looked very similar. They were all in keeping with each other, just designed slightly differently so that you could use them for different purposes and make your choice. So this was the one that I started. I took some 36 count winter moon with me. We knew in advance the size of the designs, so we were able to bring fabric with us, and I started it there at Stitch in London, and then I didn't stitch on it anymore, I don't think, after that. So I picked this up as my new daily thread a couple of weeks ago, but I was greatly helped along by the fact that I went traveling last weekend and I took this with me as my only stitch that I took for the weekend. So I was able to put in more than just the daily thread on it, and actually then was able to finish it during this week when I came home. So this is the Stitch in London 2024 sampler, and I stitched it pretty much as it was, except I did alter the bottom line of the border there just a little bit. It was slightly different on the pattern. I just altered it a little, and then in these embroidery hoops that the ladies are diligently stitching in, it originally said SIL 2024 in backstitch for Stitch in London 2024. And I decided that because it already says Stitch in London 2024 on it, that I would put something else in. And I didn't think about this much in advance, but I kind of had a brainwave the other night and thought, I know, I will put in my initial, my S, and Noreen. And Noreen is my lovely Stitch in London buddy. She's my retreat buddy. So we have been going to Stitch in London a couple of years together, and very much hope to go again this year together. So that is Noreen and I stitching away elegantly. If only we looked that poised when we're actually there, but we can pretend. No, I love going away with Noreen. She is absolutely wonderful as a travel partner and a stitch buddy, and I can't think of anything I'd rather do than go to Stitch in London with her. So this will always be a little memory of our time together as retreat buddies. So lovely pattern. Thank you, Yaz, and thank you, Marie, from Stitch in London, for putting this all together for us. Now we just look forward to next year's, or this year's as it is, the next one is what I really mean to say. Okay, on to my whips, which are works in progress. So these are the whips, the stitches that are ongoing. First up to show you is to my friend Pin Keep Stack, and this is a Stacey Nash pattern. I'm just stitching this one at this time, and it's going to be a gift. I'm going to make a couple of small alterations, but at the moment, I'll move it a bit closer so you can see. At the moment, the only alteration that you can see is that I've changed the colours to blues, and I am working on that sort of berry and vine border, and it's beautiful to work on. So here's my progress on it. I'm really happy with how the blues are coming out. I worried a little bit that the cream colour, which I think is Classic Colourworks Fawn, I worried a little bit that it wouldn't show up enough, but I think it does show up just enough. It doesn't need to scream white at me or anything, but I think it still shows up enough. And there's some lovely variegation in that, because you can see these two berries here, they actually look quite different colours, but they are from the same length of floss. So I'm really happy with this. A little bit more, obviously, to finish this corner, and then I'm going to change the wording that's in the centre. It says "to my friend" in the centre, and I'm just going to change that a little bit and maybe put our initials in somewhere. So the pattern does allow for one set of initials. I might put in a few numbers as well, but I will make my decision when I get there. I know I'm going to have to do some charting, because if I'm going to put wording in the centre, it's going to have to be 1/1. It is on the chart, it's 1/1 as well. So yeah, wish me luck with that. For some reason, charting it to 1/1 seems to cause me more confusion charting it than it is actually stitching it. So it doesn't really make sense, but there you go. So that is the "To My Friend" pin keep. One day I really would like to stitch that whole little series. I think it'd be beautiful just to have that little stack. So okay, that is that one. Then I pulled, I should have said about the Stitch in London piece, that was one of the Whip Go calls, so that helped as well to tick off one of those. So it happened to be on my Whip Go board and was one of April's, the numbers called for April. The other number called for April is this one for me. It's Americana Blue by October House Fibre Arts. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And this was the wonderful Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows. This was her choice for her birthday start in our Fun for 50 Sal last year. So this was the one Sally wanted to be her birthday start. And we started this together for her in September. I started it and then I didn't do anything else with it, unfortunately. But I did pick it up. It was nice to have it come up on the Whip Go board. I think I've put this on the Whip Go board more than once this year, but I can't quite remember, but I think I have, in order that I would actually be prompted to move it along. So here is my progress. This is being stitched on a 40 count speculas by Roxy Floss Co, and the floss is Louisiana Hot Sauce. Oh, it's looking very orange there, but it isn't. It's a beautiful bright red. So it's a Weeks Dye Works Louisiana Hot Sauce. I think when I shared this before, I explained to you that I was having difficulty stitching this particular motif. I just found it quite hard I don't really know why, because it's not hard, but I'm finding it hard. And there are 8 of these to stitch all the way down. So I'm trying to do this sensible thing and make myself stitch this piece, treating it a bit like the border, stitch this piece before I'm allowed to stitch what comes in the middle after it. So I have worked I worked on the scissors, some more of these buttons, and these little doodad patterns across the top. I added in the letters, excuse me. So I've started in with the alphabet. This is A, N, and the beginning of O, and then this little border here. So it's I find it a little bit slow stitching. I think at night time on 40 count, even with my lights and magnifiers, I've been a bit slow lately. So, but it is beautiful and I enjoy it very much. So there's a considerable amount more still to do with this, but I have met the Whip Go goal for this month, and we'll see if I can fit in a couple of other nights on it this month to move it on a little bit further as well. So I enjoyed that. And then I worked this week on One Stitch at a Time, which is the stitch along piece for Across the Pond Stitch and Chat Facebook group. So we are a Facebook group. The group is run by Angie, the Tiny House Stitcher, and Marie of Stitches and Diamonds and Stitch in London. They run this lovely Facebook group, and there's a monthly Zoom call that you can be part of if you're lucky enough to get a ticket. But we have on the Facebook group this year, we have decided to do a stitch along together. And there are so many of us doing this. It's wonderful doing this stitch along, and lots of folks have finished this month already. So the stitch along is very flexible, and you are very welcome to join if you're not part of the Across the Pond Facebook group. The details will be down below, so if you'd like to go and check us out, you can find some more information in my show notes for that. But you join the group, and if you go to the files section at the top, you will find the details of the SAL. There are two documents. One is the SAL guidelines and one is the SAL assignments. The assignments are completely optional, so that was just where I broke down the pattern into 10 monthly parts, just like this. And that was just to break it down for anyone who wanted to follow a kind of a guided SAL, as it were. As I said, lots of folks have finished, so some people didn't stop. They enjoyed it so much they kept stitching, and they have their pieces finished, and a few even have them framed and on the wall. So that's really inspiring to those like me who are just doing the bit that I'm supposed to do this month and then waiting and doing the bit for next month. So it's inspiring because we can see how lovely it is and how it comes together. But we are only 4 months in now, so we have the top two lines done, and then this section here complete for to the end of April. So if you think, and it is really possible to catch up, if you think you'd like to, then please come along and join us. You'd be very, very welcome. I have stitched, so this section here was 3 and 4, so that's for March and April. So I finished this bit off, and I actually made a little start yesterday when I was stitching on the house as well. So I'm kind of a little bit ahead of myself, which is really good because I'm absolutely bound to fall behind soon anyway. So let me show you, instead of just holding up my crumpled printout, let me show you what I've got. So here it is. The design is let me show you what I've got. The design is by La-Di-Da. So I have, as I said, I stitched this piece. I added my initials in. I loved stitching these blossoms. Loved doing that yesterday. I think I really enjoyed bringing the pink in because didn't feel like that much colour until we put that in. And then I made a start on the house, and I was really surprised how quickly this went, because that was just a couple of hours in the afternoon. And then the couple of hours that we were on the Across the Pond Zoom call last night, which was so nice to be able to join. I haven't been able to join since January, and it was just so good to catch up again. But yes, a couple of hours in the afternoon I did the outline of the house, and then a couple of hours last night I did the windows and some fill in on the house. So I'm further ahead than I expected to be on that section. That's actually the May assignment. So as I said, the stitch along is very flexible, so you did not have to follow the assignments in the order that they're in. You could have started in the middle. Assignment 1 was up at the top, but you could have made this one your first one, and basically do what you like, but we put some guidance in for people like me who like that. So I'm hoping that this one will continue to be such a pleasure to stitch. I love it. And it was so nice to see so many folks posting their updates in the Facebook group this month, and so many finishes as well. So that is that one. And then I had a start. So I showed you last time the Secret Garden stitch along, which is the brand new stitch along from the Historical Sampler Company. It started on the 31st of March, which was 2 weeks ago, tomorrow. And part 1 is out now, and part 2 is due tomorrow. So the Secret Garden stitch along looks like this so far. So it has started in the center. This is a 5-part stitch along released in fortnightly parts. So every 2 weeks you get a new release. This is the center, and then there are 2 parts on either side to come. So I presume we will get the bird's tails next time, and I don't know what's coming here next. So I think there might have been a squirrel on the sneak peeks that we had, so maybe we'll get a squirrel tomorrow. I don't know, but it was lovely. And I liked this amount to stitch. I thought this was a good amount to stitch. Not too much, not too little. Couple of nights of decent stitching here. So I love the colours, and I can't wait to see what's happening with this one tomorrow. It is still available and very easy for you to join and catch up on this Secret Garden Sal if you're interested. Please pop over to the Historical Sampler Company website. I'll link that below for you. You can see what kits they have left, and they'll have a PDF option as well. So it's a beautiful stitch along. I highly recommend this one. So that is all of my stitching for the last couple of weeks. I think, focus mostly on the Stitch in London piece because I took it away with me, and then by the time I was coming home I could see the end in sight, and that meant that I wanted to do more than just the 1 thread a day to get that one over the line. So I'm very happy that it is finished, and now I need, moving into my plans, now I need to choose a new daily thread, and I'm quite undecided about that. I don't know which one to make. I have to say that Dream of a Winter Garden was my first daily thread for this year, and I found it harder because there were colour changes in that. So it is harder, I think, when there are lots of colour changes in your piece, to do a daily thread. A daily thread works really well on a monochromatic piece, or on a piece where you're doing maybe a lot of fill-in, or where there's a lot of block colour and stitching, where you're getting your money's worth out of your single thread at a time. So I'm not sure what I will bring in as my daily thread, but I need to make a decision on that soon. I also, obviously, I'll do part 2 of the Secret Garden Sal when it comes out tomorrow, and the next day, and then after that I want to focus and see what else I can move along a bit. I'm feeling slightly like my plans aren't working for the year, and I'm not really getting through my projects or reducing the whips in the way that I thought I might be able to. It's not a problem, but it would be nice if I could get something that felt like it was working a little bit better. But I mean, if it doesn't, it doesn't. I think it might just be one of the offshoots of having 40 whips, or almost 40 whips, is that you can't get finishes unless you're going to neglect everything else. So if I'm trying to touch a number of things, then everything's just slow rather than something getting finished. But we'll see how I work that through. I don't have anything more concrete in my plans for the moment. Just to mention, in terms of getting connected, so sometimes I like to tell you about ways that you can connect with other folks here in the community, and we have several new floss tubers. I know there are lots of new floss tubers all the time, but we have a couple that I watched this week that I would highly recommend to you. The first is at Stitching with Charlie. And Charlie is a younger woman who it's lovely to see coming to cross stitch. She tells her story in her first episode as to why she has come to cross stitch, and she is learning a lot. So she is UK based, and she is new to Flosstube, and she's also quite new to stitching. She only picked up cross stitching in January of this year. So I think it's always exciting to be part of someone's journey and watch where they start from and where they go to thereafter. So Charlie has been stitching lots of little things, and she's growing and developing as she's learning what else is out there in our stitching community. And she starts off by sharing her finishes so far, because she doesn't have a lot of whips to do a whip parade with just yet, but I'm quite sure that will change now that she's joined us here on Flosstube. So she starts with a finishes so far parade, really, and shows us the things that she has already done. So please pop over and watch Stitching with Charlie and give her a little bit of support and let her know that I sent you. The other person that I think you should be watching is Vashti. And Vashti, you may have heard her name bouncing around various floss tubers over the last year or two. Vashti has connections with Attic, so she works there part-time, I think, and I know that she is someone who helps out on their retreat events and things, and I know that she has had plenty of mentions because I recognized the name when I watched the Flosstube. Didn't realize it was her Flosstube because her channel is actually called Olive Green. That's green with an E on the end. So it was a lovely first video that she did, and her video takes us on a journey from how she started and the fabrics and the choices of patterns that she was doing, and how she progressed as a stitcher, how she moved from sort of her introduction to stitching and some basic stitching and fabrics and threads and patterns and things, and how she's moved and developed, and she tells that story really well. So that is absolutely well worth a watch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her channel grow too. So that is at Olive Green, and don't forget at Stitching with Charlie. I'll put both of them down below for you, so you can go and find them. The special thing that I wanted to share with you is my market order came in. Now, I didn't do a very big market order this year. In fact, I ordered 2 things for myself and 2 things for you guys. So at some later stage, after Easter probably, we'll have a couple of little giveaways for 2 charts that I chose from the market releases to give away to you. I'm not going to share them today and spoil the surprise on that. But I ordered 2 things for myself and they came in. So the first was the Nativity Tiny Town. That's not be a surprise to you. I said that I loved it and I knew that I would order it. So I did. But the special thing that I wanted to share with you is this book by Simone from Suddy Day. So Suddy Day is a needlework shop in the Netherlands, and Simone owns that shop. And she has put together this book called Connected by the Red Thread. So all of you red sampler stitchers out there will enjoy this book. The book is written in English and in Dutch, so you have both in there. I'm trying to find a page that I can show you. Anyway, it is in English and in Dutch. There is some information and history in there, a little bit about red samplers, and then there are 6 red samplers and patterns included in here. So I will show you the back, which has all of them. They're lovely. There's some darning samplers and marking samplers. They're beautiful. It's a lovely book, and I was so pleased to get that. But I thought I would share it with you in case it might interest you too. Next, I want to share with you the new subscription box that's coming from Cotton and Twine. So this is their April box. It has released for pre-order on their website, and you need, if you're interested in this box, you need to order it by the 25th of April. That is their cutoff point, and at that point then they start shipping the boxes out. But they have sent some boxes to a few of us floss tubers to share with you. And let me show you what is coming up. All of the details are on their website, so this, I'm not spoiling any surprises, but I just wanted you to see what's in here. So this is a monthly subscription box that Cotton and Twine do. It's a super box. You always get the monthly pattern. You get your fabric and threads. There's a choice of fabrics too, so you can have the Aida fabric or the linen fabric. You get your threads and a lovely gold-plated needle so that you can get started straight away. Your threads come all pre-sorted on a lovely card. And then you'll get a little sweet treat and a little gift in the box, as well as the finishing items to be able to finish your piece. So for example, this April box is this lovely chart, this lovely June chart, and it comes with the frame to finish it. So let me share with you what is in this box specifically, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about the pattern for this month. So you'll get your pattern. It's a lovely A3 size pattern, full color, okay? So it's lovely to stitch from. Then there'll be this little bag, and in here you will find your pre-sorted threads. Look at those beautiful colors. They're so pretty. And your fabric. So my fabric is the linen, and it's white linen this time. So these are Swigart fabrics and DMC threads, so all at lovely quality. And your needle is always tucked into the threads as well. Then, as I said, you get the finishing item, which is this lovely little white frame. So once you're all stitched up, you'll be ready to finish it. So no excuses, no going into the under the bed box with your pattern, with your project. And then there was a little gift item. This time it's this little bee, cute as can be. And a honeycomb sweet treat, milk chocolate honeycomb bar. And there's always a little tea bag so that you can have a cup of tea and chill. So this is your subscription box for April 2025. It's £20 plus postage and packaging for the Ada box, and £22 plus postage and packaging for the linen box. So UK postage and packaging is just £3.99. International postage and packaging I think is £12, but you need to check that out. In whatever way you look at it, it's super good value. So I want to thank the ladies, Suzanne and Joanne, at Historical Sampler Company for sending me this box so that I could share it with you. Now, this pattern is part of a series, as you can probably guess, because this one is labeled June. They do have others in the series that they have already released, and some still are yet to come. So I wanted to just let you know that if you like this and you would be interested in it, but you're also interested in the other months, that some of the other months are available in past boxes. So you can order them as a past box. I checked with Joanne and Suzanne, and they will also become available in time as PDF patterns that you can purchase separately. So for a time, they're probably just exclusive to the subscription box, but you will be able to get them. So that was just me thinking, well, what if you guys see this and are interested in the other months? And then I was also thinking, well, I've received this now, and you know that I love a bee stitch. Absolutely love a bee stitch. So there's no way I'm not going to stitch this. But maybe I'm not going to purchase all of the other 11 monthly boxes. And it would be very easy to adapt and just remove June from this chart. So I think that you could very easily draft the word buzz for down there. I also think that you could very easily move down these two tiny bees and this little flower down below here. I think that is entirely possible. Wouldn't take a huge amount of figuring out. So I think there are ways, even if you think to yourself, oh, that's a monthly one and I'm not going to do the whole load of months. I think there are definitely ways that this could be very easily, very simply adapted. So you can, as I said, buy the other months, or will be able to. If you can't get them as past boxes, you will be able to get them. But you could also make some very simple adjustments, just so that it doesn't become about June in particular. So that's just my thought on it, and I thought I would share it with you because it's too pretty to pass up. So that is the April box. As I said, please go and have a look at the Cotton and Twine website. Cotton and Twine are the subscription arm of Historical Sampler Company. So go and look at their website and you'll see the box and the information and the details there for yourself. You can subscribe, and then it's a very flexible subscription. So if next month they show you what's coming up. So they normally at the beginning of the month will show you what that box is, and you've got until the 25th to make up your mind if you want it or not. You can pause your subscription, so you don't have to take the box if you feel it's not for you. The other thing you can do is you can buy a 3-monthly subscription, 6-month and 12-month, I think, as well. And that will just give you a little bit of discount on those boxes too. So it's very flexible. It's worth looking at all the offers, and I have really loved all of the boxes I've got. I know that recently they've been sending me boxes for the promotional purposes, but if you remember way back to my early videos, you'll know that I was a subscriber myself and I loved receiving those boxes in the mail. So that is the April box from Cotton and Twine. Okay, before I go today, I have a question for you. So I'm hoping that some of you clever peeps out there might be able to answer my question. So last weekend, I went to visit my son, Andrew. He is now living in Malvern in England. And I went there to visit him. It was lovely, so beautiful. I don't think I've ever been somewhere where there are so many gorgeous architectural buildings and houses in such a small area. I don't think ever. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely fabulous little place. But when we were there, we were tootling about the town on the Saturday morning, and we popped in to Oxfam, and I managed to save a little piece of linen. So they had some linen doilies and things in the store, and I bought this because of the drawn thread work in it. Because you know, I've been saying for a long time now that I would like to do some drawn thread work, and I never make the time to do it. I never get there. But I saw this and it was £2.99 or something, and I picked it up. So it's very, very beautiful, and I just gave it a little bit of a freshen up and an iron this morning, so it's lovely. But I wanted to ask you about this border that's on here. So obviously the center is a very fine linen, and there's these bits here are the drawn thread work. But this bit here, which it's not unusual or anything, but this sort of lacy effect border, do you know what that's actually called? Because I don't think it's not more of the drawn threads, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. It's more like a weaving, or is it tatting? I don't think it's true lace, but I don't know. I don't know what this is actually called. It looks to me like it's been added on afterwards, and looks to me like pure thread work, you know, so it's not fabric that's had threads drawn out of it or anything. It looks to me like pure thread work of some kind. So do you know what this is called? Just because I'm curious. I love this. I think it's so pretty. It has brightened up really beautifully. I put a teeny spot of bleach in the water when I was washing it, and it brightened it up just beautifully. There's a little bit of wear and tear in places where the border is meeting the original, you know, the center fabric, but it's not noticeable unless you're actually working up close with it. So this was my little linen save. And if you know what that's called, that work on the edge, then please let me know, because I would just love to know what it's actually called. That's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed your little morning or afternoon stitching with me. I hope you're stitching on something lovely. Do let me know in the comments below what you're working on, and I hope to be back now, probably not in 2 weeks' time. I think I'm going to take a week off. So nothing is wrong if you don't see me for a little while. Nothing is wrong. It's a planned break. I'm just going to take some time and actually spend a Sunday stitching instead of just recording and editing, and I have a few other bits and pieces to do as well. So it could be 4 weeks before you see me. Maybe I'll make it back in 3, but I'm not sure. But it could be 4 weeks until you see me again. So let me know what you're planning to stitch over that time. Are you doing anything nice for the Easter break? It's going to be Easter break from the schools. Some of the schools here are off already. Charlotte's not off till the end of the week. So we don't have any big plans, but I'm sure we'll just have some nice family time. So let me know what you're doing for Easter. Let me know what you're stitching on. And I hope I will be back to see you probably in a month's time. And until then, I hope that you all stay well and stitch happy. Bye.